Hello, today I'm going to tell you more about a HearthMod software stack installation. This is a complete video guide, and as you can see, I have absolutely nothing pre-installed. I'm going to be using a Windows operating system under which there is a guest operating system. I'm going to install Linux distribution, quite popular, Ubuntu, and let me just go ahead. So first thing that I want to do, I want to increase the memory of the new virtual machine. Then I need about, I believe, 20 gigabytes of space. That's enough. Of course, I want to modify the properties of guest operating system. I want to be able to copy and paste from guest to host and vice versa. Then I want to enable some other features. I want to enable this 3D acceleration feature, and I also want to increase the memory, the video memory. So I've done that. The most important thing obviously is to choose the ISO file of our operating system. As you can see, I'm using Ubuntu 16.04.2. Once I've done that, I can just go ahead to installation, to installing the system. Obviously this is this guide is without any modifications or cutting or anything. I assume there will be some issues, but if I experience these issues, I will try to sort them out on the fly. I will solve them. Afterwards, you will have some idea what kind of issues you can experience. Also, if I don't experience any issues during this installation, there are certain parts. Yeah, let me just through this real quick and then I'll continue. I've got the SSD drive, so this should not take very long. If you don't have SSD, it just takes a bit longer. Anyway, to continue the point I was making, the idea is that if I experience any difficulties, I obviously will try to sort them out, and there are certain areas I'll be talking about, and those areas might cause some issues to you if you're not very experienced. So I want to cover those areas too. If you're not experienced with Linux in general or any other stuff related to this HearthMod. So what we're doing right now, once again, this is a complete tutorial without any cuts, without anything pre-installed. Right now I'm installing the Linux, specifically Ubuntu distribution. HearthMod software stack has only been ported to Ubuntu and Debian operating systems. You can identify it quite easily because here it's if you look for apt-get, this apt-get is related to the previous two distributions I mentioned, and some other distributions use it as well, but I've only tested it on these two distributions. If you decide to port HearthMod to different distributions, that will be more than welcome and really appreciated. But for now, let's just stick with this. Once this is installed, I will have to do one thing that is not mentioned here to install Git, obviously, because it's going to be, it's a fresh operating system. I don't think Ubuntu, or at least this distribution, this version of Ubuntu, that it has Git installed by default. If you don't know what is Git, then you probably can just Google. Use Google and to find out more information about it. I haven't contributed to this project for quite some time. The reason is that I believe it's pretty much ready for use. If anyone wants to use it for development, playing around, or any other purpose, I believe it's ready, and I have no intention, at least now, to contribute to this project in a foreseeable future, as I'm occupied with other stuff. But that's the reason I'm making this guide, is to share this with some other folks who might be interested in this, and eventually make some additions. Okay, so it looks like the Ubuntu is installed and it's booting. VirtualBox version is the latest one, I believe. It's 5.1.22. I don't think this version matters that much. You'll probably be able to do the same thing on the older versions. Oh, is it my... Okay, so first issue, it doesn't boot, or does it? Okay, so what happens when the VM guest OS doesn't boot? Let's try to close it. Man, Oracle, what have you done to the nice software it used to be? Aborted. What have these guys done to a nice piece of software VirtualBox used to be? So I just turn it off, try to turn it back on. Alright, now it boots. Hopefully. It's quite slow. I've got the SSD drive. Anyway, it looks like we are in. As I mentioned, I'm going to install Git. Git being installed. And right now, I can just do this. Follow the guide. So, let me just create a directory here. Now I'm gonna clone this. I can't paste. What is this? I have enabled shared clipboard. Anyway, I can just do it like this. So I followed this step. I cloned the hard mode. Then I enter the directory and I run uninstalled. I've got enough space. I've got about 13 gigabytes. I believe I had about 22 gigabytes. What happened? Uninstalled. So what happens now is that some essential packages, as mentioned here, let me just open the script. Some essential packages mentioned here, they are getting installed. It's quite a few of them. Once that is done, other file must be downloaded, which is a Couchbase server, and obviously if for some reason you want to repeat the step, it checks if the file exists, because it's quite a big one. It has about 150 megabytes, I believe. So if it exists, there is no point in downloading again, just using it. Okay, let me just keep this window open. So still we are getting the sort of like dependencies, the packages that are essential to retrieve, otherwise we will not be able to finalize the installation process. So now it's been downloaded. Now it's been installed. This entire uninstalled step, okay, some packages demand your approval, that you accept something. Yes, I accept. This entire uninstalled procedure of the installation script is supposed to run smoothly. There are only several times, like you have just seen, when the user's input is actually required. And I believe the next time it will be when the new certificate for the server is generated, because if you just generate the new certificate, you have to fill in some information like country, origin, the name of the institution, but you can simply just press enter and submit the blank field. Okay, what was this? Fetched, can't draw privileges for downloading file. Permission denied. What is this? Oh, TTF MS Core Fonts installer. But I believe that was... Well, to be honest, I have not seen this before. This is what I was talking about. If we experience some issues, we will fix them. Well, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna be able to fix these issues. Permission denied. So we updated it and then we installed. Well, let's just go on and see what is this TTF. I don't freaking believe it. Anyway, it didn't stop, so we can probably just ignore that. It was some just funds, I believe, nothing major. Yeah, like could not get some funds. Permission denied. Okay, so that step is complete. I don't know if those missing funds are going to have any impact on the functionality of what we're trying to achieve. Sorry. But anyway, first step has finished. That is a step of downloading and installing the dependencies, the system dependencies. Then the other step just finished, and that was Couchbase server. It's not even 150 megabytes; it's 92 megabytes. So that was downloaded. Then it was installed. The starting failed. That's okay. You don't have to worry about that. Then if you look here, so what we basically did, we went through this, we installed Couchbase, then we just cloned libCouchbase, which is an interface that allows you to talk to Couchbase programmatically, and here it's installed. That's cool. What next? What's next here? Okay, and we have just downloaded and installed this, and we entered into cloning the entire hard mode stack. As you can see, HMWeb, HMStud, clone is explained or defined here. So what it is, it basically clones the every single repository that is needed, starting with the base library, then the database snapshot, game server, lobby server, stud, which is a TLS wrapper and unwrapper, Nginx, web server, web, which is a web interface that allows you to do all kind of stuff with cards, Sunwell, that is card generator or something. Yeah, I think that's like an card image generator. And then the client, HearthMod client. This one is quite big because of all the assets. As I have just mentioned, using the web you modify the cards, and by modifying cards I mean altering the Unity 3D XML file, which includes all of those cards. So that's the reason this repo is so big. Sunwell is not so big, and client is small as well. Cool. So it was cloned. Once the cloning is done, then Hearthstone client is downloaded. Again, it starts. Let me just get back to it. Downloading HearthMod Hearthstone client. If it exists, no point in downloading. If it doesn't, of course it's downloaded. Then 2 copies are created. Let me just go back to this. Do we have any space left? 9 gigabytes. It's not a lot. 5 minutes. Yeah, my ISP sucks big time. Anyway, once this is downloaded, we are approximately, as you can see, this is the entire installing. This is the set of steps for the installation, and we are approximately in the middle of it. And as you can see, I haven't, apart from approving that EULA license, I haven't I wasn't required to do anything. I just run the script and sit back relaxed. Then again, as I mentioned, if the certificates are generated, there is some user's input required, but apart from that, I haven't really done anything. I'm just chilling and checking the progress. Okay, so afterwards the Couchbase service started, or at least the system tries to start it as a service. If this fails, then the installation fails too, because you can't create the bucket in Couchbase if you come from the world of SQL databases. Bucket is like a SQL database, and this step of restoring bucket, I have a database, I have a bucket snapshot, and I imported the bucket. It's like importing tables into database in the SQL world. So obviously this would fail if server would fail to start. And then basically everything is compiled, and as a part of compilation process, the database has to be already filled with some data, otherwise it doesn't compile. Then the installation finishes afterwards. The installation, the Hearthstone install is defined here. What it does, it basically does some sanity checks, and it just copies a hard mode. So we'll have 2 instances, and we'll be able to play just by, you will be able to play just by yourself by running 2 instances, which is very convenient way of doing development and everything else pretty much. Okay, so I'm quite surprised that I gave this guest OS 22 gigabytes, and I'm only left with about, how much is that? I'm only left with about, alright, so okay. Well, anyway, it's enough. That's enough. Once this is finished, HearthMod zip will be unpacked. Once unpacked, hopefully we'll have enough space for that. The installation process will continue. A very important thing to mention here is that, but I'll probably wait for the right moment to talk about this. Is the alteration of the hosts file, because obviously you want to connect to your own computer, you have to redirect the HearthMod instance to your local host. Anyway, we are starting the Couchbase server, so fingers crossed, hopefully this doesn't fail, otherwise we can repeat everything again. Success, bucket create, which means not only it started but also the bucket was created successfully, and also, as you can see here, it means that the bucket was restored, which is like, as I mentioned, the importing of tables to database. There is some compilation already happening, and as a part of the compilation we have to, as I already mentioned, we have to generate the certificate. So what we can do here, just press enter, because yes. If you do that, the certificate is created. It's just a demo certificate, self-signed one. This is Nginx being compiled. The reason I got my version of Nginx is that I did some modifications to the configuration files, and this is already the Hearthstone server being compiled. There are some warnings, you can fix them, and we are finished. Everything is finished. Installation finished. So what we can do now, we can just go back here. So we've done this, and this guy says run this, which compiles and installs blah blah blah. Once compiled, run. Okay, but probably this is not the correct order of sections in the guide, because what you need to have now, you need to look in this section, and if you don't want your Hearthstone client to connect to HearthMod.com, you must edit your host file by adding the following line, and this is exactly what we are going to do. So hosts and oh man, so what I have is the IP address of my Ethernet. If I ping this is just my machine. This is my guest operating system. So what I want to do, I want to go here and I want to redirect the HearthMod.com to my address, which means if I ping HearthMod.com, it only pings, is like a loopback. It pings my machine. And what I can do, I've done that, I can come back here and I can run it. icon and just copy stuff, which is quite annoying. Start and IP. Let me just close this. Bash host start, and this IP is here. And if I do this, starting hard mode, we got the certificate we created, demonized, everything spawned successfully. Right now I can just go to how can I check it if it's running? First thing I can do is go to localhost. It basically connects to my local web server, which it looks like hearthmod.com, but it's not. It's just my local host. There are some predefined usernames, which is John Doe, the one I just logged in, and the other is Mike Doe. Not really sure. You can see there are some cards. You can modify them in the mode section. This mode is called Defense of the Ancients. You can basically play around with this. So if I close this, let me just expand the screen. Oh, you probably won't be able to see it because I have trimmed the region. Okay, so what I can do, I can also check if this keyboard, where is the pipe? Anyway, how do I get the pipe of this keyboard? And to verify if it runs, you can just run this command: ps aux pipe grep hm underscore, and you can see that first process that runs is a game server. Second process that we have in the list is lobby server. Third is a stat server. It has 2 instances because there is a watchdog and a process. Then there is a web server, HMWeb, and also there is Nginx server. So everything seems to be working. I can even go to hmlog, and here I can just do tail of any of these files, and it will give me some output. Yeah, opening server. So basically it works, it runs. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the client, which is HS client 1. Okay, so what I have is one guy who can connect it starts the Viney, but it only takes some time for the first time because it creates the configuration file, and if you run it the other any other subsequent time, it's gonna be significantly faster. So what I've done, okay, so I've logged in with credentials John Doe. Okay, let me just do it like this. Okay, let me just not terminal. I want to split the screen so you will be able to see. Okay, I'll close this. I open this, I split, and then we go to HearthMod, HS client 1, right? Linux, and what is this? Client 2. It's essential that you have separate directories for every client, otherwise it will not work. So in one window I'll log as John Doe, and in the other window I'll log as Mike Doe. I believe that's like the default. These are the default two guys. So what I have, I just opened lobby, and the deck was found because I redirected everything to localhost. Everything works. Now I just press play, and sometimes it just crashes. I don't know why. But yeah, the graphics is not so good. I should have probably installed the VirtualBox editions. Oh no, the intro. Leave me alone. Yeah, because as you can see it's quite choppy, but it's because I run it in VirtualBox. Okay, so I just press play. And I can play. Regardless of this, do not click anything here. Okay. I need to minimize it. Alright, it's minimized. I need to minimize it even further. Okay. So one guy is already looking for a game, and now this is the John guy, John Doe, and I'm gonna run the other client. The music is quite irritating. When I did stuff with Hearthstone, I had all the sounds turned off.
Did you hear whispers? Then they shut the windows.
Okay, but I believe I will be able to play. As I mentioned, sometimes it crashes just only for the first time. So I'm looking for a match, and it should like yep. It basically, there is no sophisticated matchmaking system. It just searches for the first available opponent. And as you can see, okay, let me just turn the sounds off. Or maybe not, it's quite funny. As you can see, I'm already playing. So this guy received... One guy goes first, the other guy gets an extra card. And as you can see, I'm just playing by myself. As I said, it's quite choppy, but that's because the VM and the VM I'm using, and I don't get it. I thought it's gonna be quite smooth. Next video, probably in the next video, I can connect from Windows to this Ubuntu, where the server, where the actual server is running. That would be more convenient, I believe. So let me just play this guy. I play it, and as you can see, it's displayed properly on the client as well. And I can play this card. Just gives me some healing, and you can see the history that this card was played. Yeah, so it works. It's very choppy, but in the next video I will definitely show you how to connect to this from Windows machine, and it will not be that choppy. But that's it. Very simple, very fast guide. I believe it only took me about an hour to do it. And hopefully you will be able to run it too. If you have any questions, please comment under the video, and thanks for watching. See you some other time.